A dawn streaked with crimson and gold hues painted the sky over the small village of Ballymore. The smoke of a victorious battle hovered around, contrasting the still and quiet tranquility of the pre-dawn hours. On the rough gravel lay the gigantic bodies of defeated Cyclopes, testament to the mighty struggle that had ensued in the darkness of night. These weren't the first of their kind to have fallen to the combined might of a uniquely diverse group of adventurers, and given the lingering tensions, they certainly wouldn't be the last. Each member of the valiant group took a moment to steady their breath, their hearts still pounding with the adrenaline of their triumph. Ziffer Ravenstorm, the enigmatic pirate, and Guldek Ironjaw, the stalwart dwarf artificer, descended onto the battlefield with a cautious curiosity. Their eyes flickered over the bodies and clothes of the fallen creatures, seeking clues, information, anything that could unravel the mystery surrounding these Cyclopes. Their diligent search bore fruit as they unearthed gold and silver coins tucked away in the belongings of the creatures. This discovery was odd. Cyclopes were not known for their sophistication or understanding of currency. The plot thickened when they found an ancient parchment hidden in a pouch of the largest Cyclops, the original treaty of the folk and giant kin. The detailed handwriting unmistakably belonged to the legendary Tormund Ironjaw, father of Guldek, and one of the heroes of Glenadoc, alongside Quarian Nightbreeze, Crom, and Seven. In the midst of the escalating tension and eerie quiet of the dawn, a glow appeared in the distance. Sun Wukong, the monk from the eastern Xingdu kingdoms, and Kiavara Nightbreeze, the enigmatic elf, spotted the faint light from the village. Their eyes, sharpened by countless encounters in various terrains, observed a humanoid figure slowly approaching, the lantern he carried piercing through the dawn's murkiness. As the stranger neared their location, Guldek Ironjaw, his voice steady and resounding, called out to him, "Who goes there? You might want to be a bit careful. There be Cyclops about, and we just killed a few." A smooth baritone voice echoed through the silence, responding with a tinge of amusement. "Oh, did you now?" The stranger moved into the light, revealing an average-height figure with a mane of flowing blonde hair tied at the back of his head. His face bore the delicate features of half-elf lineage, crowned by a neatly groomed beard of red and blonde. His blue eyes, reflecting the lantern's soft glow, scanned the group of adventurers with keen interest. "I am Sheriff Duncan Harriman," he introduced himself, extending a hand in greeting. The tension in the air seemed to alleviate slightly as the sheriff turned his gaze to the lifeless bodies of the Cyclops, a frown of concern etched on his face. "And what happens next? We aren't sure if the rest of these Cyclopes will come to Ballymore seeking retribution, or how many may even be left." Discussions ensued, with the initial wave of skepticism and distrust washing over the adventurers. However, upon witnessing Sheriff Duncan's badge and his writ of duty, signed by Lord Chervon himself, their apprehensions began to recede. With reluctance, they agreed to aid him in tracking down the home of the monsters, their resolution strengthened upon uncovering another vital clue. The clothing worn by the Cyclopes bore a corrupt version of the maker's mark of Kiavara's mother. Further investigation of the massive greatsword wielded by the Cyclops leader revealed a castle stamp from Kagan's Keep. This keep was once a small tower in the Galadrin Marshes, the westernmost outpost of the Lakelands. It was where Lord Derek Kagan had hoped to break through the marshes and expand the west. But those dreams were shattered when the Black Scourge struck Kagan's Keep. Now the Black Scourge has morphed into the Shadowlands, posing an ever-increasing threat to the lands around it. Now, with a new treaty that Glenadoc has established with Stronghold, the group had an urgent task at hand, returning to get the agreement ratified by the city elders. It was more than a piece of paper. It was a lifeline for Stronghold, Glenadoc, and the Northern Alliance of Free Cities, holding the potential to shape their destinies and futures. Upon Duncan's instructions, one of his guards, Elfric, along with a couple of other men, took care of disposing of the remains of the Cyclopes. Sun Wukong's peculiar suggestion of feeding the bodies to the pigs raised eyebrows, leading Guldek to remind him that the practices of the East didn't always translate well to their customs. Ignoring the slightly confused expressions of the group, Sheriff Duncan continued his orders. The livestock that was to be the Cyclops' tribute was taken care of by a young stable hand named Geralt, who was given instructions to keep them where they are until given other orders by the sheriff or Elfric. A surge of excitement coursed through their veins as they made their way back to the village, their path lit by the slowly rising sun. Ballymore, nestled in the heart of the great northern plains, was a quaint little village that had always been known for its peace and tranquility. Although it lay far away from the hustle and bustle of larger cities like Stronghold or Glenadock, its people led lives of easy tranquility, always ready with a smile or a story. It was a picturesque vision of pastoral simplicity: thatched houses, gardens abloom with wildflowers, and neat rows of crop fields stretching into the horizon. Upon their return, the group made their way to the Wandering Hearth Inn, a familiar establishment known for its cozy interiors and hearty meals. Welcomed by the innkeeper, Elend Sorensen's warm hospitality, the adventurers savored a well-deserved meal. But the tranquility of the village was broken with the shocking discovery of the brutal murder of Eric, a local farmer known for his hard work and asinine nature. He was found in an alley near the blacksmith shop, lifeless, with wounds suggesting a violent struggle. The atmosphere in the village turned grim as Sheriff Duncan and his men began their investigation. Kiavara, who had been in a recent public dispute with Eric, became a prime suspect. Despite the grim atmosphere, the adventurers, along with Sheriff Duncan, knew that they couldn't afford to delay their quest. They set out to hunt down the remnants of the Cyclopes tribe. The fresh scent of the woods welcomed them as they journeyed deeper into the wilderness. Elfric's training in tracking and survival, and Sheriff Duncan's familiarity with the mountainous terrain were instrumental in tracking down the Cyclops' abode. The domicile was a grotesque mockery of a home, a structure of large boulders and logs crudely assembled. Around it, smaller Cyclops seemed to be preparing for something. A sense of dread hung in the air as the group formulated a plan. With the sun at its zenith, they orchestrated a strategic ambush. Kiavara's necrotic spells, Zifr's sorcery, Guldek's artificer's ingenuity, Sheriff Duncan's fearless leadership, and Sun's agile martial arts combined in a deadly dance of death. The small battalion of Cyclopes stood no chance against their coordinated assault. Their victory over the Cyclopes was not without a price. The group was weary, their bodies bearing the marks of battle, yet their spirits remained unbroken. Their shared sense of purpose drove them to search the domicile. Guldek and Kiavara took the lead, exploring the wooden structure. They discovered a hidden room, possibly the leader's den. Inside, a massive chest lay hidden under a heap of animal hides. Luckily, nobody was hurt when the enormous steel teeth of a trap nearly clamped shut on the arms of Guldek and Zifr. Perhaps Guldek wasn't as skilled at finding traps as he thought. Their eyes widened at the sight of the treasure that lay within the chest. Rubies, emeralds, and sapphires sparkled under the dull light. Besides the precious stones, they also found a magical belt, a ring that enabled water walking, a ball of indestructible string, and a mysterious metallic feather. This assortment of magical items had the potential to be a game-changer for the adventurers. Guldek also found a mysterious charm that the leader of these monstrosities seemed to be fashioning into a necklace on a table in the chamber. It bore the blackened and twisted emblem of an ancient oak tree, another mystery to be unraveled. With their newfound treasure in tow, they returned to Ballymore. The villagers greeted them with mixed reactions. The awe of their victory over the Cyclops was shadowed by Eric's murder and Kiavara's involvement in the case. But after the recent battle with the Cyclopes in the name of protecting Ballymore and the testimony of her companions that she had been in her room all night, the sheriff convinced the villagers of her innocence. The adventurers then decided to focus on deciphering the magical items they had found. They approached Elva Brightblade, the keeper of the local shrine and a well-known figure in Ballymore. Her knowledge of magical artifacts and arcane knowledge was unmatched. If she didn't know the information, her library would contain at least clues to the information they were seeking, and so she agreed to help them. The metallic feather was unlike anything Elva had ever seen. Its intricate design, combined with the palpable aura it exuded, indicated that it was a relic of immense power. After much contemplation, she identified it as a feather from a fallen angel. This revelation stunned the adventurers. The presence of a fallen angel's feather indicated that forces far more powerful and ancient were at play. The task ahead of them seemed more daunting than ever. Armed with their newfound knowledge and the ancient tome they had generously purchased, the group set out on their next adventure. The journey would be arduous, fraught with danger and uncertainty, but their spirits were high. They were united under the banner of the Northern Alliance, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They were prepared to defend their lands, uphold the treaty, and unravel the mysteries that lay before them. As they bid goodbye to Ballymore, the sun set in the west, casting long shadows on the path ahead. But the adventurers did not falter. Their hearts were ablaze with resolve, and they moved forward step by step towards the unknown. Their journey was far from over. The fate of Glenadock, Stronghold, and the Northern Alliance rested on their shoulders. As the moon rose in the night sky, they journeyed on, a beacon of hope in the face of encroaching darkness.